Now, let's talk about a quick pro and con of these interview episodes. With interviews, your pro is that you kind of have to show up because somebody else is counting on you. Somebody else is waiting on Zoom for you. And so it means you're probably going to record. That's the pro. Another pro is that person who's a guest, they have a good chance, a possibility at least, of sharing it with their Facebook followers or their Instagram or LinkedIn followers. So if you have somebody else, you can do what I call Trojan horse marketing. And in short, that is during the Trojan War, the town of Troy was impenetrable, and the Trojans came and pretended to give them a gift. And they basically did give them a gift genuinely, but it also had a couple of warriors in there that could unlock the gates. And when they unlocked the gates, they infiltrated and they were able to win the war. And that could be a way for you to be able to basically have other people on your podcast and in a way leverage their audience, leverage the people that follow them if and when they share it with their followers, their email list, etc. Then you are able to, in a very awesome way, add value to their listeners and possibly pick up a couple new listeners. And another reason why maybe not to do it is because it takes a little bit of time. It takes a little bit of preparation. It takes effort to go and find the guest. It sometimes takes effort to vet a guest. Sometimes you actually have to delete an episode because the guest didn't come with a whole bunch of value. So there could be pros and cons, but I'm thinking as you leave this episode, as you go on past this episode, you should be armed with knowing that if you have interviews, you can grow your audience. And if you have solos, you can add more influence to your audience. And then there's one more sneaky trick to interviews, and that is if your guest is the same type of person that you could serve as well. On my podcast, it is. I serve podcast hosts. I have a business called Grow Your Show. Grow Your Show supports podcast hosts around the country. And we help them to be able to offload all of the hard stuff. And so for me, I can easily help my listener. Obviously, I can help you. But also, if I only interview podcast hosts and get them to add value to you, and I give them some value by giving them more exposure to what they're doing, and I also add value to them by saying, hey, I noticed this thing about your podcast. If you just tweak that one thing, you get more listeners. So I'm giving them a little bit of free coaching as well. And then we start recording, and then we have a conversation, and now I have their email, and later on I could always email that person and say, hey, do you need any services? Hey, do you want to offload your podcast production to my company? Hey, do you need some marketing or editing or coaching for this thing? And I'm able to serve them. So it can help for me to be able to make more money because I'm interviewing my avatar at the same time as I'm giving content to my avatar. I'm interviewing a podcaster while giving content to a podcaster. So if you can find a way to do that, you'll get even more value.